Good day. This is a technical description for my data-driven application called Trivia that is developed in Python using Takinter. I start by importing the libraries I need. I use Takinter to create the windows, buttons, and labels. TTK gives me extra widgets like drop-down menus and progress bars. Message box lets me show pop-up messages if something goes wrong. TK font to create a custom font so the text has a pixelated arcade style. Request to get trivia questions from the Open Trivia Database API. Random helps me shuffle the questions and answers so they are in a different order each time. HTML helps decode special characters in the questions, and Pillow lets me load and display images in the game. Next, I define some global variables to keep track of the game. I have questions to store all the questions I get from the API. Current question keeps track of which question the player is on, and score counts how many answers are correct. I set total questions to 14, which is how many questions appear in each game. I also have last category, last difficulty, and last type to remember the player's previous selections. So if they choose to play again, I can use the same settings. I also created a dictionary called Categories Dictionary, which links the category names like general knowledge or sports to the category IDs that the API needs. To manage the different screens in my game, I made a function called showFrame, which hides all frames and then shows the one that I want. This shows the frame by packing it, filling both horizontally and vertically, and allowing it to expand to fill the available space. When the player clicks the play button on the main menu, the start game function runs. This shows the settings frame, where the player can pick a category, difficulty, and question type. I use the fetch questions function to get questions from the API. If the player wants to play again with the same settings, the function reads last category, last difficulty, and last type. Otherwise, it reads the current choices from the drop-downs and stores them in these last variables. I reset the score and the current question to 0, update the labels and progress bar, build the API URL based on the player's choices, request the questions, shuffle them, and then show the first question. The show question function displays the current question and the answer options. It updates the question label and clears previous feedback. It also updates the progress bar to show which question the player is on. If the question is true or false, it shows only two buttons labeled true and false. If the question is multiple choice, it combines the correct answer with the incorrect answers, shuffles them, and shows them across four buttons. If all the questions are done, it shows the game complete screen. When the player clicks an answer, the check answer function runs. It compares the player's choice with the correct answer, and if the player is correct, it updates the feedback to say correct and 1 to the score. Then if it's wrong, it shows the correct answer, disable all buttons briefly, and then after a short delay, the game automatically moves to the next question. I also made two helper functions named restart game same, which lets the player play again using the same settings, and then back to settings, which returns the player to the settings screen so they can pick new options. For the Takinter setup, I created the main window and then set the title to Trivia Game, and also set the size to 650 by 500 pixels. I also defined a custom pixel font for the retro arcade look. Then I created four main frames, which are the main menu, settings or selection, game, and game complete frames. In the main menu frame, I load a background image and a play button, which clicking the play button runs start game and opens the settings frame. In the settings frame, I load another background image and create three drop-downs for category, difficulty, and question type. There is also a start button below which runs fetch questions. In the game frame, I load a background image and create labels for the score, the question text, feedback, and a progress bar. I also created four answer buttons that will show the possible answers. The game complete frame shows a background and a game complete label and the final score. There are two buttons below. One lets the player play again with the same settings, and the other goes back to the settings or selection screen to pick new settings. At the end of the program, I show the main menu first and call root.main loop to start the program. This keeps the window open and lets the player interact with it. So, in conclusion, the player starts at the main menu, chooses the settings or selections, answers a number of trivia questions while the score updates, and then sees the result at the end. They can either play again with the same settings or choose new ones. Each part of my code handles one part of this process, from setting up the interface to fetching questions, showing them, checking answers, and updating the game. That's it for my technical description. Thank you for watching.